You probably think your life is a product of your past, right? That every choice you make today is like an arrow you shoot, and it flies in only one direction, straight into the future. That's causality. It's the one law we thought was absolute. But what if that's not the whole story? What if that choice you think you're freely making right now was actually engineered to create a result your future self needs? So stick with me here as we dive into this totally mind-bending idea.
And look, this isn't just some philosophical daydream. This is a real possibility that's bubbling up from the front lines of quantum physics. What we're getting into today is a pretty taboo idea, one that challenges literally everything we think we know about free will, about destiny. The question seems simple, but its implications could rewrite not just our future, but our past too. So, is the future actually pulling you forward, or are you just walking a path that's already been laid out?
Okay, to even wrap our heads around this, we've got to think about the future in a totally new way. Not as some distant, unwritten land that we're traveling toward, but as a place that might just be able to send echoes back through time, echoes that shape the very path we take to get there.
So this whole idea has a name, and it's the key to everything: retrocausality. It just completely flips our normal A causes B way of seeing the universe on its head. It suggests that B, some event in the future, could be reaching back in time and actually causing A. I know it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but it's a serious hypothesis physicists are using to try and solve some of the deepest mysteries out there.
So where does this wild idea even come from? Well, for us, in our everyday lives, time feels like this unstoppable river, always flowing in one direction. But when you get down to the tiny, fundamental level of particles, the laws of physics don't really seem to care which way time is flowing. Past and future are almost symmetrical. And that opens up this tiny crack in reality, a little loophole where influence could, maybe, travel backwards.
Okay, so this is where the theory really smashes headfirst into reality. We're about to go from a mind-bending idea to actual, concrete, experimental evidence. Evidence that seems to show a decision made in the future literally altering an event that has already happened and been recorded.
Yeah, the name sounds super complicated, I know. Delayed choice quantum eraser. But what it proves is actually chillingly simple. And this isn't a thought experiment, this is a real experiment that's been done over and over again. And every time it forces us to face just how bizarre time and reality really are. Honestly, it's one of the most profound, just reality-shattering experiments anyone has ever come up with.
All right, let's really break this down, because this is where things get absolutely wild. Scientists fire a particle of light. Let's call it photon A. The pattern it makes gets recorded. It's done, it's in the past. Then, later, they make a choice about its entangled twin, photon B. Now, entangled just means they're mysteriously linked. Whatever happens to one instantly affects the other. So they can either measure photon B to see which path it took, or they can erase that information. And here's the kicker. Making a choice about photon B now changes the pattern that photon A already made in the past.
Just stop and think about what that actually means. It's not just that the future is influencing the past, it seems to be retroactively defining what the past even was in the first place. A choice made in the present reaches back and collapses all the ghostly possibilities of a past event into a single new history. It's almost like the past was just a rough draft, waiting for the future to make the final edits.
And that, right there, is the million-dollar question. Does this only happen to tiny little particles? Is it just some weird quantum quirk? Or, and this is the big leap, what if these same bizarre rules apply to that incredibly complex quantum computer sitting inside your skull? What if this backwards in time thing is happening inside your own mind, right now?
All right, so now we're going to try and bridge that gap from quantum weirdness to the human brain, because a famous set of experiments suggests that our own conscious feeling of making a choice might just be a story we tell ourselves after our brain has already made the call.
Back in the 80s, this neuroscientist, Benjamin Libet, he set up an experiment that people are still arguing about today. He just wanted to pinpoint the exact moment a free decision is made. But what he found shook the very foundations of what we call free will.
So here's what he found. First, he spots this spike in brain activity, this readiness potential, that signals a movement is about to happen. But it's only after that signal kicks off that the person feels the conscious urge, the I've decided moment, to move their finger. And then, a little bit after that, they actually move it.
0.3 seconds. That's the gap.
For nearly half a second, your brain is already getting ready to act before you are even aware you've decided to. Your body is gearing up to follow an order you haven't even consciously given yet. So, how free can a decision really be if your brain is already halfway there before you even get the memo?
I mean, the implication here is just huge. What you experience as this moment of choice, of free will, might just be you becoming aware of a decision your brain already put into motion. It's like your consciousness isn't the CEO making the big calls. It's more like the press secretary who walks out to the podium to announce a decision that was made in the boardroom a while ago.
Okay, so let's pause. We've got two, frankly, deeply unsettling ideas on the table now. From quantum physics, we have evidence that the future can redefine the past. And from neuroscience, we have the suggestion that our conscious choices are just an afterthought. And when you smash these two ideas together, well, they point to something truly radical about the nature of time itself.
And that brings us to the grand finale, a theory that might just be able to explain all of this strangeness. It's a concept that comes straight out of Einstein's theory of relativity, and they call it the block universe.
So the first thing you have to do is just forget the idea of time as a flowing river. In the block universe model, time is just another dimension, like length or width or height. This model says that everything, every single thing that has ever happened and ever will happen, from the Big Bang to the last star burning out, already exists. Past, present, and future are all equally real, all coexisting in one giant, static, four-dimensional block of spacetime.
This is probably the best way to picture it. Don't think of your life as a movie that's playing out. Instead, imagine it's a giant finished sculpture. It already exists in its entirety. Your consciousness is just the spotlight moving along that sculpture, lighting up one moment at a time, which creates the powerful illusion that time is flowing.
And what's so cool about this idea is how it just elegantly solves our paradox. See, in the block universe, retrocausality isn't so weird anymore. It's not that a future event changes the past. No, it's that the past and the future were always connected that way inside the block. That quantum eraser experiment wasn't rewriting history. It was just revealing the pre-written, deeply connected patterns of the sculpture.
And so this leaves us with what might be the ultimate question, right? If this block universe is real, it challenges our deepest sense of who we are. So are you the author, writing your own story as you go, making free choices that shape some unknown future? Or are you the reader, just turning the pages of a book that's already been written, experiencing the story for the first time, even though the final chapter is already there, just waiting for you? The science we've looked at today suggests the answer might not be what you've always believed.